The Sacred and the Profane, The Nature of Religion by Marcia Elliott. This is a suggested reading in your course outline. I wanted to share three very small trade secrets with you. Yesterday, one of your classmates met me and I was delighted. He or she asked that some of the things which he had read from my own book doesn't match with my ongoing lectures. Then I asked him or her what you have read in the course. And he or she said that basically we Google. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, I met one of my teachers who is alive, 96 years old person. And I shared my agony with him. Instead of answering my question, he asked another question. What you people expected when we were teaching you? I said, frankly, sir, we wanted complex things to be simplified in the class. We wanted insights which you have accumulated over the years as a very experienced teacher. But unfortunately then, sir, you people were underestimating our intelligence. You know, this is a book which I need not show you that my discourse on sociology of science is basically from this book. The universe from ancient Babylon to the Big Bang. This is a history of science. You know what our teachers were doing? You know, this book, and they will give their interpretation of the book, which is not the job of a teacher. There is a textbook which every student has to read. And the teacher has absolutely no moral right to interpret it in his or her own way. You should give insights to read a particular text. Then he asked me, you had a problem when we were teaching, you have a problem when you are teaching. I said, sir, most probably Google is not wrong. But what Google does, a particular person who doesn't give his or her name paraphrases a book of 200 pages into 20 sentences. Most probably, it may be accurate, but Those 20 sentences will not give you the context in which those 20 sentences were written. Why it is important to read the whole book? I have given you 20 odd books. Don't read 20 odd books. Read just 2 books of your choice, back to back. And I'm telling you, I told you in my first class also, it will not give you more information. But higher education is not about information. Information is basically for schools, school kids. Up to 12th class, you are supposed to know. You are supposed to be informed. In college, you are supposed to be knowledgeable. From information to knowledge. Now in MA, that is master of a particular subject, you are supposed to be wise. What does it mean? The teacher is supposed to give you the wisdom. You are supposed to construct your own knowledge. Instead, we as a collegium of teachers expect you to be parrots, memorize facts. That is useless. Now, there is another problem, particularly about this course. I did not wanted to teach this course. But, I'm usually forced to teach a particular course. Why people are not ready to teach this course, and this is usually forced on me? Because this is a very sensitive, controversial subject. But why the controversy or sensitivity is involved in a course on science? Because of 2 things: commonsensical understanding of religion and the technical understanding of religion. This is called Saraswathi Puja. Today is Saraswathi Puja. And I know that my yesterday's lecture was my worst lecture ever in life. But I had planned that to be my worst lecture. I am retiring very soon. Our teacher, the Buddha, said, don't follow me. I do not want to be role model of anybody. Therefore, I do hard work, construct a very good, beautiful portrait icon of Saraswati, and then I destroy it. I make my own, brand, and then before the semester ends, I destroy it. Why? Because you become better than me. Become your own role model. Don't follow me. Don't follow my style. My style is my style. It is conditioned by my karma, my environment, my gene pool. Why I am saying this? Because of 2 things. I said yesterday that among the Hindus, there are 3 important deities: Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. And Brahma is not worshipped. And nobody gave me answer why he is not worshipped. Then I asked another question. I have been asking this question since the morning, 4 o'clock. Why you people are celebrating Saraswati Puja? And until now, nobody had given me the answer. I will be delighted in case some of you come after the class in my room and share your wisdom. Why Saraswati Puja is celebrated today. Got my point? In case you have understood the subjects, the concepts very well, then you must know how to apply these concepts in empirical religious situations. For example, deliberately, I provoked your class about Ram Janam Bhoomi and Akshardham temple. I thought some of you will come angrily and protest. I would have loved that because, I'm trained in martial art and I'm a good fighter. But I'm old like Amir Khan of Dangal. Maybe you can defeat me, not because I do not know my technique, but because I'm an old person. You see, Ram is supposed to be one of the incarnations. I'm trying to, make my yesterday's lecture a little more meaningful. Ram is supposed to be one of the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. And who is Lord Vishnu? One of the three important deities who control the universe. Now, according to the greatest Acharya of the Vaishnavite sect of the Hindu society, because Hinduism is not a religion, Hinduism is a society where there are many religious communities. And one of the communities, namely the Vaishnavites, believe that the whole earth is the body of Lord Vishnu. Now, the Vaishnavites have to decide whether they want to get the whole earth or they want one place called Ram Janam Bhoomi. In case they are interested only in Ram Janam Bhoomi, even if it may or may not be historically correct, then they are saying that only, suppose this is Ram Janam Bhoomi, they want this, and they have left the whole body to the global capital. Only this Ram Janam Bhoomi is sacred to them, and the whole body called earth is profane. What type of religion people are teaching you? It is against the basic tenets of Hinduism. Are you getting the point? Either Ramanujacharya, who has given Sri Bhashya on the Vedic religion, is correct, or Mr. Vinay Katiyar of the Bharatiya Janata Party is correct. You have to decide. I am nobody to say whether Ramanujacharya is correct or Vinay Katiyar or Ashok Singhal or Narendra Modi is correct. In the same way, in Islam, only Allah is sacred, nobody else. Not even Prophet Muhammad is sacred. But in Christianity, Trinity is sacred. Allah, that is the Father, the Son, that is Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost, all the three are sacred. Therefore, what I tried to do so far was to give you a theoretical perspective which will empower you to understand your own religious community and the other religious communities which are existing besides you, so that you can be a good or bad religious person. I am not saying you should not participate in politics, but that is not my domain. Max Weber was a career politician. He contested election. He wrote the manifesto of his political party. So was Karl Marx before 1848. But Imaildur Khaim was a career academic, and I am also a career academic. And besides my Jain work, I am a Buddhist monk. Now, why I am saying this? Because of two things. There are 6 aspects of religion, and usually people theorize or discuss only one of the aspects. And what are those 6 aspects we are discussing today? Magic. James Fraser said earlier it was magic, then magic developed into 2 parts, priests and kings, and both were sacred institutions. The institution of priest was sacred, so was the institution of king. Therefore, religious church became sacred and the state became also sacred, and there was a theory called theory of divine right to rule over the people. Now people think that there is no magic today. But in case you have read Bronislaw Malinowski, he says, at the same time in any society, all the 3 exist together. The magical, the religious, and the scientific. The magical, the religious, and the scientific. Now, in what form, in what symbol magic is present? You know, in different world religions, you will find such words as miracle. For example, in Christianity, charisma, as in Max Weber, politics. Prophets, not only religious prophets, but also political prophets, you know. Saints. These people are some sort of theoretical enigma. It is very difficult to reconstruct them in simple theory, concept, structure, process, function. They defy the commonsensical logic or the scientific logic of the everyday life. Are you getting the point? Now, in case you try to figure out the underlying principle of miracle, charisma, prophets, saints, then you will come to different concepts, theoretical concepts called surplus grace. Now, some people think that the political economic concept of surplus value, which is there in Adam Smith's or Ricardo or Karl Marx, is economic term. No, this is a religious term. Surplus value is rooted in the concept of surplus grace. In the same way, in India, for example, among different Hindu communities, Jain communities, Sikh community, Buddhist communities, you will have this concept, Kripa, Guru Kripa among the Sikhs. Kripa of Lord Krishna, Goddess Saraswathi. In English, Kripa and surplus grace can be translated as mercy. It is the mercy of God or Goddess that we are successful. It is the mercy of God that Bill Gates is so successful, although he had stolen the formula from Steve Jobs and he had confessed it. And what is the root of his success? Mercy. Of whom? God. Now, according to Emile Durkheim, who is that God? Durkheim says the moral community. Some people think that moral community is a secular concept. Moral community is profanizing God. No. He is trying to make you aware that whatever you see in society is the will of God. Now, this will of God has been secularized in people like Friedrich Nietzsche, will to power. Are you getting the point? You must confess in case you are not understanding a particular subject. Then I will try again. But let me first try to figure out. Therefore, these are magical elements in religion. What are the religious elements in religion? Rituals, totemism. And what is science? Science is logical, legal, empirical, verifiable. One, religion, that is ritual. There are three types of ritual in any moral. One is called rites of passage. Rites of passage or life cycle ritual. For example, the birth ritual, the marriage ritual, and the death ritual. There are certain well-established ways to celebrate the birth of a child in any community. In the same way, there are certain well-established, institutionalized ways to dispose of the body of the dead person. In the same way, there are certain well-established, institutionalized ways to marry, marriage, and consumption of marriage. But this is the critical minimum. In any ethical community, in any well-established historical culture, there will be at least 3 sets of life cycle rituals. Okay? But you can remove one of them, marriage. Without marrying, you can live with your partner, living together. But at least 2 rituals are mandatory, the birth ritual and the death ritual. Marriage ritual you can dispense with. Now there are certain so-called modern people who will also dispense with the birth ritual. But what about the death ritual? Do you know any community on earth, even though they claim to be atheists, Gnostic, non-believers, who do not perform death ritual? You ask anybody, are you really a Gnostic, non-believer, atheist? In this campus, there are many people who will claim yes. But you ask them, have you ever participated in any death ritual in your life? And then there will be a problem. But I have met one person in this campus, this brave campus. My wife died and I did not perform death ritual. I said, okay, good. But what about, sir, when the mother-in-law had died and you invited me to participate in the death ritual of your mother-in-law? He was silent. You know, there are 3 deaths in 10 years, and you are performing one and not performing 2 others. It doesn't mean that on the basis of your non-performance of ritual, you become a non-believer. It appears that you are not performing 2 rituals and you are not performing only 1 ritual. But I asked him or her, because the person belongs to this campus, sir or madam, can we make a charge that you are discriminating between the dead body of your 3 relatives? And he was horrified. He said, or I'm sorry, I'm caught. It is a he. Because she never believes in this arbitrary way. Given a chance, a woman is more fair than the man. This may be product of historicity, but it isn't. You know, women are bad liars, men are good ones. You know what you are doing, my dear friend? You are discriminating with the body of your wife because she is a woman. When she was alive, you did not dare not participate in the death ritual of her mother. It is gender discrimination, sir. It has nothing to do with your belief system. This is bloody inequality. This is discrimination. This is not called atheism. Therefore, I request all of you, don't argue with the book or the teacher, even if you hate the person. In case you have mastery over your theory, your method, your technique, the same book will empower you to annihilate him or her. Power is not given, it is taken, snatched. And here I am telling you a very important fact. At the deeper level, all the religions are one. Because all try to make a moral community, ethical community. After the class. But at the surface level, there are differences. And the main reason of difference may be of three varieties. The main reason or the basic foundation of difference between the different religions may be that in some religions they may emphasize the magical. In other religions they may emphasize the ritual. In some other religion they may emphasize the science. Are you getting the point? But all the three elements are there in every religion. What is science, for example? I have given you the definition of magic, and Durkheim has given you the definition of ritual. What is science? Rules of sociological method. Durkheim says, sociology is a science. And what are the defining features of science? General, exterior, constraining. What is the meaning of it? General means universal, applicable to all. General means universal, applicable to all. Then exterior. What is the meaning of exterior? I have asked many people and they have given different answers. But in case you read Durkheim in context, exterior means mathematical, structural, not sentimental, principles, not application. Exterior means mathematical or structural, that is, the underlying principle of concrete structures. And third, constraining. What is constraining? Constraining means that science is contextual. There is a context which constrains you. But it is not sufficient to understand. He is only trying to say that science is cumulative. Science is cumulative. What is the meaning of cumulative? You cannot understand the theories of Albert Einstein in case you are not aware about the theories of Newton. And you cannot understand the theories of Newton in case you are not aware about the theories of Copernicus. Therefore, there is cumulation. Cumulation means some sort of evolution, some sort of development, which is dependent upon the previous generation's life work. The previous generation's life work. Are you getting the point? Now, take the scientific aspect of religion. This is scientific aspect of religion. This is the religion, scientific dimension of religious organization. You know, F family, E economy, P polity, S science. Any moral community is founded on the four elements, and all the four elements are divided into symbolic and instrumental. What is the difference? In family, the instrumental is more from here to here. Only this is symbolic. Therefore, family is the most so-called material dimension of religion. Family is the most solid dimension of religion. Solid representation of religion. Physical, material, solid. In the case of economy, it is less instrumental, less materialistic than family. Polity, family is most instrumental, most physical, most materialistic. Economy is less than family and more than polity. Polity less than economy and more than science. Science is the most symbolic of all. Are you getting the point? Now, there is a modern philosopher, you all know his name, Immanuel Kant. He has two terms, noumena and phenomena. Noumena is reality in itself, and phenomena is reality as it appears through our concepts, categories, theories, paradigm. Got it? At this level, two theories are, well established. One is the theory which is put forward by the classical sociologist. You name them, all of them: Auguste Comte, Karl Marx, Emile Durkheim, George Siemens, Wilfred Pareto. They all almost agree that there has been some sort of two major forms of religious life: the mechanical and the organic, or traditional and modern. In case you want to deconstruct it in the language of sociology, a society or community without division of labor, and another society with division of labor, both in society as well as in science. Then there are contemporary theorists of religion, and in your course outline you have them: Talal Asad, Genealogies of Religion, Discipline and Regions of Power in Christianity and Islam. Then you have Bhagwan Das, essential unity of all the religions. Paul Hilard, Religion, Modernity and Postmodernity. Masuzawa, The Invention of World Religions, or How European Universalism was Preserved in the Language of Pluralism. Nakamura, Hajime Nakamura, Ways of Thinking of Eastern Peoples, India, China, Japan, Tibet. S. Radhakrishnan, Eastern Religions and Western Thought. These contemporary theorists are saying it is a fact that there has been two types of moral communities or religious groups. One without division of labor and the other with a division of labor. But modern European scholars have emphasized one aspect and neglected the other. They have given more importance to the social organization of religion and neglected the study of the magical dimension of religion and the ritual dimension of religion. For example, the American social anthropologist Mackie Marriott said, that 19th century or early 20th century European social science is not universal, it is ethnocentric, it is rooted in concepts which are the historical product of European life, and it does not capture the non-European social reality in Asia, Africa or Latin America in the same way in which it tries to capture the European life. Are you getting the point? They are saying their perspective, their interpretation is fine, but it is incomplete. Why? Because they are giving importance to one aspect and neglecting the other. They gave, for example, J.P.A. Suberoy. He has written 3 books. European Modernity, for example, in which he had said that for Europeans, the national and international is one and the same thing. The national and universal is one and the same thing. Whereas for non-Europeans, the national means something and the universal means something else. It was called colonialism, Orientalism. Are you getting the point? Therefore, please try to understand there can be another perspective about the same well-established fact. Take democracy. The French Enlightenment emphasized democracy in politics, but they did not allow democracy in economy. Or democracy in science, or democracy in family. Are you getting the point? They have overemphasized democracy in polity and underemphasized democracy or the absence of it in family, economy and science. Therefore, there are 6 dimensions of religious life of any religious community: magical, ritualistic, family organization, economic organization, political organization, and scientific organization. Not science as activity, but science as an institution, the organization of scientific enterprise. Got it? Therefore, whenever you are writing your term paper about the moral community, the religious community of your choice from anywhere, but this course is primarily about India, any place in India, please try to give some space to all the 6 dimensions of religion. Only then it will be a comprehensive term paper. Now, in magic, Sir James Fraser, in the book The Golden Bough, has underlined 2 very important principles of magic. One, like produces like. Like produces like. One structure and the other structure may be separated in space and time, but similar structures will produce similar functions. Although they may be separated in space and time, but like produces like. Similar structures will produce similar functions. That was his one theory of magic. The other theory was once in contact, always in contact. Once in contact, always in contact. Now this is magic according to James Fraser in the Golden Bough. What is religion? According to Sir James Fraser, for him also, religion is totemism and for Durkheim, but there is a difference. For James Fraser, totems bind people together. Totems bind people together in social groups and serve as an impetus for the development of civilization. Totemic clans began as a means for explaining the process of conception and birth. This is James Fraser. But what is religion for Durkheim and magic for Durkheim? You know, for Durkheim, magic is profane, it is not sacred. Magic for Durkheim is profane, it is not sacred. But for James Fraser, magic is also sacred. One difference. For Durkheim, magic is profane. For James Fraser, magic is also sacred. Second, for James Fraser, totems bind people together in social groups and serve as an impetus for the development of civilization. James Fraser. Now Durkheim, totems are basically classificatory scheme. Totems are basically classificatory scheme which has given birth to both religion and science. Are you getting the difference? The difference is that for James Fraser, magic and religion both are sacred. For Durkheim, magic is not sacred, only religion is sacred. One difference. Second difference, for James Fraser, the basic role of religion is to bind people, the cohesive role, you know, solidarity, organization, unity. That is the basic role of religion. But for Durkheim, this is not the basic role of religion. The basic role of religion is to provide classificatory principles. which lead indirectly to the growth of three institutions. You know, the classificatory principles of totemism, play a very significant role in the development of three institutions. Which ones? Kinship, that is family. Second, science, and third, state. Religion encompasses all the three. Encompassing, it includes in very organic way all the three. Therefore, Durkheim had a slightly broader concept of religion than James Fraser. You know why? Because of the social origin of knowledge. What is the social origin of knowledge? Both were product of similar age, similar environment, similar history, but Emile Durkheim, Sigmund Freud, Karl Marx, they were all born in Jewish families. They were minority people. Now, why this becomes important? In case you read the book, you will understand. In case you rely on the Google, you will not understand. Because you will miss the context. What is the context? When Emile Durkheim wrote this in 1912, just 2 years before the First World War, he was living in France, which is by and large a Catholic country, whereas Marx was born in Germany. He was also a Jew. Germany is by and large a Lutheran Protestant country, by and large. There are other communities. But there is a difference. What is the difference? Durkheim lived almost his entire life in France, whereas Marx was born, brought up and educated in Germany, but spent some years in France and then spent almost 38 years in England. Now, in sociological literature on religion, there is not much importance on the religious character of English modernity. The modernity of France is mediated by the Catholic background. The modernity of Germany is mediated by the Lutheran background. But what is the religious structure, religious identity of England? What is Anglican Church? There is not much published literature on it. Now, unless and until you raise such historical questions, it is a very dicey, dangerous game to interpret from sociological background, which is European and Christian in origin. In case you apply sociological concepts to Islam in the Middle East, or the Hindu India, or the Chinese people, there will be more problem. Therefore, you must understand the concepts which the European sociologists are using are not value neutral, at least in origin. Therefore, I suggested all of you to read Sociological Tradition by Robert Nisbet.